One of the most popular country music hits of the summer is Try That in a Small Town. But the song has ignited controversy and faced backlash from fans who say the lyrics encourage racism and violence. Jeffrey Brown has more for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
The song is by Jason Aldean, one of country music's biggest stars. The video includes footage of violent protests and vandalism and was filmed in part at a courthouse in Tennessee, which was the scene of race riots in 1946 and where a black man was lynched in 1927. Critics, including singers Sheryl Crow and Margot Price, say the lyrics promote violence, with verses that include, "Try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road, around here we take care of our own."
Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that might fly in the city. Good luck.
Following an outcry, the original video was slightly re-edited to remove some of its controversial images. Small protests have taken place at several of Aldean's concerts, but the song's popularity has only grown, jumping to #2 on Billboard's country music charts last week. Joining me now to tell us more, Marcus K. Dowling. He's the country music reporter for the Tennessean in Nashville. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, when this song was released, it wasn't that big a hit. It got more attention with the video. Why do you think it has become such a cultural flashpoint?
I'd say that there's a growing, or there has been a long existing conservative base in country music that is being positioned via this song to, have a certain moment. And I feel like those fans are regular streamers now. They regularly engage with content online as well as with physical purchases too. So they're willing to support a song like this because it, plays right into their demographics and ideals.
And tell us more. I mean, what are they hearing and what are they seeing?
Well, I think that they're hearing, this pay on to small town values and the thought that America's at a place where it's more divergent and diverse and dynamic than ever before. So for a lot of people, it feels like, maybe they're being lost in the larger conversation. And so a song like this sort of stems the tide, for lack of a better term.
Jason Aldean himself has been outspoken in his conservative views, certainly on social media. Tell us a little bit more about him and what has been his response to the outcry now.
Well, he's definitely been in support of his own song, and he's been willing to continue to play it live. And it plays with where he's been headed as a artist on social media for roughly the last 5 years. He and his wife have come out as notable conservatives, and they're willing to do that because they feel as though with the upswell of the more liberal left in country music and related spaces, that there just isn't a space to be notably conservative in that vein and to have that voice and to be willing to stand up and articulate your own beliefs.
You know, as I said, there have been some small protests at concerts, but the song has only gained popularity. How is that being seen or read in the industry itself? Is it support for the views? Is it curiosity, a mix of both?
I'd say that it's a mix of everything. It's not just a mix of both. This is a very broad issue. In country music currently, you have every type and stripe of political, social, and musical background apparent in the genre in a manner that hasn't been seen in 50 years in the space. So that's everything from progressive house to hip hop, all the way through to country's Western swing and folk and blues-driven roots. The whole space is represented, and in that sense, because the whole space is represented, like a song like this plays into certain parts of that realm, and everybody being seen, they're willing to be supportive as well.
Well, I want to pick up on some of what you're saying there. You know, this becomes part of a much larger cultural and political divisions in country music and in our society at large. I cited some criticisms from some leading figures in Nashville, but how strong are those divisions within country music itself?
I'd say that within country itself, you're looking at both country and Americana across the board to speak to this broader platform that I'm speaking of, in the sense that you have people who traditionally have played towards more conservative arms of the socio-political spectrum for years. There's artists like Cody Johnson and others who are Western in their background and have historically always felt to be more libertarian, for lack of a better term, in their views. So they've been willing to support. As well, you have the Margot Prices and Jason Isbells, who are more Americana driven and more bent towards a socio-political left leaning notion in their beliefs.
I mean, I know from some of my own reporting over the years that the criticisms that have hit the industry about how inclusive it is, how tolerant it is, you're saying there has been change. How much change have you seen, even in recent years?
Well, I'll say that one of the great bellwethers of this is that in the past 3 to 5 years have been five African American males who have had #1 singles on country radio. As well, within the Americana ranks, there's artists like Allison Russell, who is a queer African American female, and there's been trans artists. There's a woman named Mia Byrne who recently played on stage at Bridgestone Arena. So again, it's a wide open space currently in these realms where artists who were traditionally marginalized are experiencing greater visibility. And when you see a song like Try That in a Small Town, it notes the fact that for as far left as country has leaned and Americana has leaned, it's also leaning far right too. So there's a balance in the democratization in the space for sure.
Okay, Marcus K. Dowling of the Tennessean in Nashville. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, you're welcome anytime.